It's a rainy day. It's a perfect day to talk about your little pure inner child self on the bus and who's driving the bus. So think about that little child self on the bus, looking out the window. It's your purest self. It's the purest essence of you. So this is the you that doesn't, care about ego stuff. This is the you that just needs to be taken care of. And, it's always inside of you, this vulnerable part of you that just wants to connect, be understood, be accepted, be loved. So it's that you on the bus looking out the window. When the driver is your soul self, when the driver is your soul, and you could also think of this inner child as your heart. But when you're driving in a very conscious way, when your higher self's in charge, that bus driver, you're checking in with that little child self all the time. You're passing places, a park. Want to get out and play? We can stop. You're stopping every once in a while and saying, you need anything? You hungry? You thirsty? Need to go to the bathroom? You're checking in. That higher self bus driver's checking in with that child. And this happens when we're paying attention to how we're feeling. This happens when we're meditating often, when we're doing things that keep us feeling healthy and supported and connected, when we're paying attention to our relationships and making sure that we're present in them. That's when the soul bus driver's in charge. And that's when that little child self feels really safe, taken care of. But, we're not perfect. We're humans. And we can't constantly be in that state all the time. Because sometimes we as humans, we just need to disassociate for a while, right? We just need to have a break from all that inner work, So that's when the ego bus driver is like, I'll take over. I like driving buses. And that little child inside is like, oh no, I don't like how they drive. And they never check in with me. And they don't stop, and they always, I feel unsafe when they're driving. And when they're driving, other people on the bus, the other energies, the others in your life can kind of, maybe bully you or jostle you around. Just doesn't feel good, right? And that ego bus driver just doesn't do a thing about that. No matter how loud it gets, no matter how unruly, no matter how energetically challenging it gets, that ego bus driver doesn't say a word. And he just flies past every stop. You go, oh, there's a park. Oh, there's a place to eat. They're not stopping. They're not asking. I need to go to the bathroom. They're not asking. So that's when the ego bus driver's in charge. It's not good, right? Might be a little bit of fun at first. You're like, woo, this is wild and crazy. And then it's just not good. They're going too fast. So when that soul bus driver is driving again, they're making sure that everybody in your space is respecting your space. They're making sure you're being treated right. They're making sure things don't get too loud. They're making sure there's quiet time on the bus. When that ego driver is driving, and that child you, that vulnerable you, that you that just has needs, and needs to connect, needs to slow down, needs to get off the bus for a minute, is being ignored, well, there comes a time when that child inside of you is going to pull that emergency brake. And pulling that emergency brake looks like something happening with your body. Stop everything. You're sick now. Now you have something in your body you have to take care of. Or maybe it looks like anxiety. that you just can't function through. This is what happens when that child essence of you gets so desperate and their needs are being so ignored that they have to pull that emergency brake. And then the whole bus stops. And then, even though it's horrible, everyone's mad. The ego's definitely mad. But that little child self finally is being heard. Everything stops for them. So that's a very trauma reinforcing experience. You know, it doesn't feel good for the inner child or for anybody else. For that brake to have to be pulled, for things to have to be in emergency mode, for the body to be doing whatever it's doing to listen to that, for the mind to be responding, oh, what do we need to do to fix the body? Everything's in an emergency state. So the way to avoid this emergency stop that the inner part of you, the vulnerable part of you, your heart, your inner child has to do sometimes, is to make sure that that ego bus driver is not in charge for very long. And you'll just do this through check-ins, meditation, making sure you're connecting conscious through presence and connectedness in your relationships, vulnerability, listening to your body. What's your body doing? Are you starting to feel like, uh-oh, my body might be wanting to pull that emergency brake? Paying attention to all this is what's going to keep that child on the bus, that whole bus of you, in balance. Not perfection, but balance.